Finally, the first playable build of Adventurelust Fantasy is now available. And yes, I'm still alive for the 28 of you who don't care. Still trying to figure out this work ethic thing. To play it for yourself, click the link in the description to sign up for my newsletter. It will get you access to early builds of Adventurelust Fantasy and my FPS Cinder Core, as well as further rewards in the future, as soon as I come up with rewards worth your while. I started creating Adventurelust Fantasy in Unity, but have decided to move development over to Unreal, so this first build is actually the old Unity version. I want to put out a build of it to give you guys something to playtest, to see what I've developed so far, and get a small feel for where I want to go with this game. This is the usual intermission where I beg you to like, subscribe, and remember my channel exists. And here's the breakdown of the shoddy little bits and pieces I've developed so far. So here we are in this tiny little test room. You use WASD to move around, spacebar jump, and most importantly, tab to open the inventory. It has classic drag and drop controls. You can drop items onto the skill bar to activate them with the 1 through 0 keys. And down here, you can see the inventory has a weight limit, which I think will be an integral part of Adventurelust Fantasy, where you decide your loadout before setting off on a mission, being free to pick whatever combination of weapons and equipment you want, restricted only by the weight limits. Currently, each item has only one weight, which I intend to do some balance testing with, but let's show you the weapons I've made so far. So first off, we have this sword here. You can left click to do a basic swing attack, holding right click will perform a block, and left clicking while blocking will do a push. I've added a few sound effects to various parts of the sword for some player feedback. There's sound effects for swinging the sword, when the sword hits solid objects, when you land hits on enemies, and when you push enemies back. I'm sure it's not quite enough player feedback yet, but it's a start. The second sword here is the exact same functionality as the first one. I made it to experiment with my item system and for testing if I know how to code. I actually made the attacks modular so they could be loaded from a JSON file along with the item stats. So for example, we have this spear here. It has the same swing attack and block and push attack as the swords, but if you press middle click, it also has a range attack where it can shoot firebolts. I set it up this way to open the door for having some randomization to the weapons, where you could find weapons with different skins and also different special abilities, so hopefully it would encourage players to try new weapons or loot around for that perfect weapon they want. And it could open the door to other features such as a weapon crafting system, or at least that's the rough draft I have in my head. Next up is the fire staff. When you left click, it shoots the firebolts as shown before, and when you hold right click, you will start charging up a fireball that you can fire off by pressing left click, and on impact, it will create an explosion that pushes enemies back. The longer you charge the fireball, the more damage it will do, and it will also have a bigger explosion radius. The fireballs are affected by gravity, and the explosions can hurt you too, so please incinerate responsibly. Let's take a little break from the items to actually show some of the combat. Currently, the enemies are idle until the player comes into their range. They also chase the player when they're attacked, so you can't cheese the mechanics, or well, at least a little less. So far, there are 3 basic enemies. This orc who runs up and swings at you. The model and animations are from an asset pack, so credits to somebody somewhere. He also doesn't have any sound effects, so fighting him is a little weird. We also have this zombie, if it even looks like one at all. Threw together the model and animations myself, also set him up with some sound effects. I hope it adds some nice feedback to the combat, and his behavior is the same as the orc. Lastly, we've got the ranged orc. It chases you within its attack range and shoots the same firebolts. I've coded it to calculate how to hit you with gravity-affected projectiles. It was part of me wanting to try experimenting with a system where the enemies can use the weapons you can get. Whenever you take damage, there'll be a red flash on the screen. I want to expand upon this to give the player better feedback for which direction the attack came from. You can also do a dodge by moving either left, right, or backwards and pressing spacebar. And of course, when you run out of health, nothing happens. I haven't coded any dying. Yeah, it's just a test room. I think we can get away with it. This random capsule here is actually a training dummy. When you attack it, numbers will be displayed above it to show you how much damage you did. I want to make these like your typical floating damage numbers where they face your screen and overlay over everything, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet, so it's functional enough for now. And no, there's no useful reason for the dummy to be made of lava. It was just a free texture I had that stood out. And I love fire too much. Next up is the ice staff, or at least I was gonna make an ice staff, but my pyromania ended up working on more fire attacks instead. It has the same attacks as the fire staff, except its right click has a different area attack. This attack can be aimed along the ground to create an explosion exactly where you're aiming, and it charges up like the fireball to create a bigger, stronger explosion. It has a limited range where you can aim it, so you can't snipe enemies with it, and hopefully you can put it a decent distance in front of you quickly. And I swear the fire circle effect didn't used to be spinning this fast before. I'm moving this whole thing to Unreal, so I got tired trying to figure out why. Next, we have this shield. It will override the block action of any weapon you have equipped. Its block function's the same, except now you can block projectiles. Over here is a trap that shoots fireballs when you stand in front of it to test out the blocking, and there's no reason for it to be made of lava either. I actually have made a bit of a system for weapons to be either one-handed or two-handed. For example, if I equip a staff, which is a two-handed weapon, it will automatically put the shield away. But as you can see, the shield is still equipped, so that when you switch back to a one-handed weapon, the shield will always come back until you unequip it. I hope creating systems like this will spare players some inventory management, but but I'm sure it's too early to tell. Here we have another example of the modular weapons with this fire sword. It has the same swing and push as the other swords, but if you hold middle click, it will charge a flamethrower attack. Since it's middle click to charge, you fire off the attack with right click. I didn't get around to adding any feedback for the charging, but it takes the same amount of time to charge as the other charge attacks. And it also doesn't look like it's dealing damage anymore. Yeah, there's a problem around every corner. I'll fix it all when I get to Unreal. My little bank system doesn't work anymore because I reworked the inventory. There's the whole infinite Unity flying off glitch to deal with. The nav mesh is so restricted. Public variables break when you change names. I want to move to Unreal. With these armors, I started to build a system where equipped items would apply stats to the players. I only got around to increasing the player's max health. The gray armor gives more health than the brown. Each armor will go on its specific slot when clicked, and you can drag and drop them onto any armor slot to equip them to. You've also got a health potion here. It restores your health, as I'm sure you never would have guessed. This one's a stackable item, so you won't have to worry about managing all the potions in your inventory. Over here, I have item spawners for the consumables when you run out of them. Get close enough and look at them, and you'll be prompted to press E. Yes, you can only add one at a time currently. I'm sorry. I've also got spawners for the arrows and throwing axes. We'll get to those soon. I've also made item pickups for the health potions. They pick up on contact, so you don't have to look down and grab them. I want to add these contact pickups to weapons such as arrows and throwables. Hopefully they'll reduce the amount of stuff players have to think about in combat, which brings me to the throwing axes. These are also stackable, and they currently function like the swords, with their middle click being for tossing them around. Each throw uses up an axe, and when you run out of them, they'll automatically be unequipped. I'm particularly excited to getting around to making these pick upable. Should be pretty satisfying to hurl them at someone's face and yank them back out. Can you believe that didn't sound as gruesome in my head? And lastly, we've got the ever classic bow and arrow. You aim it holding left click and fire arrows with right click. As you can see, these arrows are just modified fire bolts. The current controls don't feel as natural for a bow. Later, I think I'll make a classic drawback and let go behavior when I have a proper animation for it. Another small flaw, you have to make sure the arrows are actually equipped or the bow will do nothing. I'll make sure to have a system to automatically handle the arrows later. I'm sure you can tell this is the last weapon I was working on before I started moving to Unreal. And that, finally, is all the items. Whew. Have we really been on just the darn inventory this whole time? Okay, is there anything else mildly interesting here? Oh yeah, you can hit the escape key to open up this menu, or you can quit when you've had enough of this amateurish garbage, or you can go to the options screen where you can change your key bindings for all the actions. At least I'm pretty sure I have all the actions here. Left click one of the buttons to start the rebind, then click the new key you want to assign, or escape to cancel, in case you've somehow never played video games before. And we've also got these spawners over here for the enemies. Go up to them, hit E, and you can spawn as many enemies as you want to your heart's content, or at least your CPU's capability. I hope you guys have a little bit of fun playing around this test room and get the tiniest inkling of my vision for this game. I'm looking forward to when I'm done with Cinder Core and can start expanding upon all these features in Unreal. Oh yeah, Cinder Core. It's a small first-person shooter I'm making to learn Unreal and offer you a little extra gift for subscribing to the newsletter. So let me bug you again, click that link down there and try it out for yourself. Be sure to leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on the build so far. I'd love to apply your feedback to make them better games. Okay, you can go find something better to watch now.